origins of your own religions. We're going to look right through. We're not going to do it with ideas. We're not going to do it with theology. We're not going to do it. You will see for the first time the origins of your religions. And today we're going to talk Jewish cult. Jewish cult. And how do we find that Jewish cult? What is our evidence? Our evidence is always the same thing with me. It's the language. And we are talking Greek, baby. We are talking Greek. I'm going to take you in to the oldest Jewish cult that is there. Oh, God. And you're going to be surprised when you find out it's only 2nd century, right? It's going to surprise you. You're going to be, be aware of the cracks in the history and its narrative and the fairy tale. Bring you Jewish cult in its very earliest form, and we're going to focus our ship. We're going to put our ship on drugs, right? That's where our navigation system, Chewie, set the navigation system for drugs tonight, because we are going in. You know, the Bible, before what you call the New Testament, these are what you may call the Jewish holy writings. This is the Septuagint. Every source here I'm bringing you tonight is from the Septuagint. Primarily the book of Tobit, the wisdom of Solomon. Got a little Maccabees in there, a couple of prophets, Malachi, throw them in, right? Oh, God, little Deuteronomy. People, how am I able to summon? Is it a mystery? No, I'm using the TLG, people. That's all. It's a scientific analysis. Show me all the drugs in the Bible. Boom, 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 boom. I've got hundreds I can go over, 3 lines at a time, all to bring you this guy. This guy. Look at this guy. What is he doing? I'm going to give you the short of it tonight, people. Judaism, originally, in its earliest form, is a cult involving the use of drugs in the practices that are, you and I may call necromantic. Oh, God, there's a whole bunch of goody. It's goody, goody, goody. Remember, Yahoo grants your wish, your binding wish. If you're a dude and you see another dude and you're like, dude, and he's like, dude, praise Yahoo. Bring the binding together. We have the texts that show this. Okay, now you're like, what? That was from previous LadyBabylon, right? Previous LadyBabylon. We're talking about Yahoo as the grantor of the homosexual union. And if that surprises you that the earliest Jewish cult is granting beneficence to homosexual unions, hey, you know, things change over time. You gotta just, you work with the evidence that you're given, right? We have those magical texts. They're absolutely gorgeous. Now, some of this that we're going to talk about tonight, like Sirach, and Tobit, right? Some of that stuff is, well, it's not considered canonical. You know what I mean? When is this stuff from that I'm bringing you from the Septuagint? It's 2nd and 1st century, right? Really 2nd century BC, right? Maybe as late as 1st. Sirach, for example, has a preface to it that tells you who it is who's writing it and for what purpose, right? And they talk about, now, granted, everybody knows that this is a phony preface, right? Right? But what's interesting is in the phony preface, which is dated to much later than the original, it's not, it's a question of difficulty in translation, right? From the Hebrew. Surprise. Now the tables are turned for Sirach, and the person who wrote the preface. Now remember, that's what we're interested in. When you read something, you're reading from the perspective of the author, right? And that author is anchored within time. And the documents that we're talking about now are anchored in Hellenistic Alexandria. Do you understand? And the influence of the museum. Right? It's all over them. So the fact that somebody is trying to say this preface to Sirach says, look, we have other books. It doesn't mention any, but it says, look, we have other books, none of which ever showed up. Right? It's a preface written exactly as you would expect from someone who was appropriating a tradition, a linguistic tradition. Yeah, it's like a big red palm. We caught you red-handed, right? It's the falsification of a text in order to create what you and I would call propaganda. We can breeze right by that. All we have to do is go into the Greek, and it's gorgeous. You're going to love this, people. Now, get ready for Jewish cult for the first time. I know you haven't seen this. I know you haven't seen it yet. All right. Okay, get ready. I love this world. I love this. It's like when that reality hits you, and people write me and they tell me this. They say, Ammon, when that reality hits me, the reactions. People describe the reactions, and it's amazing. This makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. They can't do anything with the sources, people. Have you noticed that? Oh, my God. The flim-flammers, the sellers, all those people, right? It's about something that you've caught on to. Right? And now you've got a bad taste in your mouth. That's why I have respect for you, congregation. I wanted to say that somebody emailed me and said, hey, and they were real kind of like lazily haughty. And they said, you claim Medea is the first Christ. And look, I gave this to ChatGPT. We must be missing the picture, right? And out comes this great long screed about how Dr. Hillman is wrong, that Medea is not a Christos at all, right? And it goes on this hilarious 5 paragraphs of bullshit, right? Now, I told you that Medea was the first Christ, and that's exactly right. And you can find that. You can find it. All you got to do, go look up Diodorus Siculus, and you'll find there that she Christs herself when she makes the container with the drugs in it. It says it's her best drugs that she carries around the town to fumigate the people to turn them into Bacchants. She first Christs herself. Now, this idiot couldn't find it, and the idiot AI that worked on it also couldn't find it because they don't conjugate verbs. Or they would know with the feminine, you're not going to find it in that form. You looked in the wrong place. Do you see? An entire screed thrown off completely by one premise. One premise. And that's, hey, dude, you are either a samurai or shut up. Right? Don't you dare get in this arena with the Greek. Don't you dare, unless you know what you're doing, or you're going to end up like Kips and DuckTales Dan. You're going to end up as bumps in the road. People are going to they're going to say things. Other people are going to look at them and see the obvious bullshit. Right? Let's just talk text. Let's just talk text. And why is it that Euripides says a Christ is a sex drug? Huh. You people didn't notice it, did you? Did you? No, they didn't, congregation. Boom. People, look at this text and look at what you're going to find in the highlighted. This is Pharmaca. Again, these are all These are all from the Septuagint. Okay, so I'm giving you a very quick shotgun approach to the cold, right? What does this say in verse 11? I'm going to take away your drugs. You see, pharmaka, I'm going to take away your drugs. I'm going to take them right out of your hands. Kai apophengomenoi ukesunta. There's not going to be any more apophengoing. I'm going to take your drugs. You're not going to apophengo. Next. What is the, wait, show me what the apophengo is. Then you can do yours. What is the apophengo? What is this verb? It means to speak one's opinion plainly. Oh, well, that's not too exciting. Taking away your drugs and your... Now, look, DuckTales Dan would say, you can't look at the bottom here and use that one, right? Chant hymns. And notice where the source is, LXX. That's the Septuagint. So we know we are exactly right. What does God threaten to do to you? He threatens to take away your drugs so you can't sing any more hymns. Do you remember what Jesus was doing on his way to getting arrested with a naked kid in a public park? He was singing hymns using bread that was prophetic, according to Nonus, bread for which he needed an antidote. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Oh, it's gorgeous. Give me the next one. Give me the next one. People, no hymns. No hymns, no drugs. Now you're sitting there, you're thinking, how the hell are drugs and hymns going hand in hand? It's because you don't know the creator of the Jewish cult. And this is from Sirach. And what does he say? Oh my God. Kurios ektisen ekges pharmaka. The Lord created drugs from earth. Kai aner phronimos u prosohie autois. The Lord created drugs from the earth, and any smart dude doesn't look down on them. Okay? Do you understand? In Jewish cult, drugs were a thing. They were part of it. Do you understand? Yes. Give me the next one. Thank you, Lord. That's what that says, people. And next time somebody's quoting the Bible, you quote them that one. You quote them that one. People, look at the second line. Almost to the end of the line, you see the word son. What is going on? We are in Christing drugs. And he says, this is actually pretty fun. Dude, I'm going to tell you tonight, this is the dude who had the sparrow's poop in his eyes, right? And he got a leukoma. He got a infection in his eye, right? And he goes to the doctor, and here he says, right, he goes to the doctors for help, and he says the problem is with the very same, the more they Christed those drugs into me, the more they Christed them, the worse it got. And eventually I just went totally, I couldn't see anything, right? What do I want you to see? I want you to see the anthropology of the Septuagint, or I want you to see it within the Jewish cult. And I want you to realize this is a Hellenistic perspective. These are people who are saying, I'm writing about a dude in the 8th century, only they're not telling you they're writing about it. They're telling you the dude is writing about it. This is the work of Isaiah from the 8th century, from hundreds of years ago. But the problem is they're using contemporary images, cult images, contemporary pharmacology. This is Hellenistic. Hellenistic. It's the earliest Judaism, and it's Hellenistic. People think Judaism developed thousands of years in the pharaohs. Oh, let my people go. No, the narrative that is that story developed in Hellenistic Alexandria. Okay. And it is marked fingerprinted. Do you understand? It is marked with its own environment from Hellenistic Greek. Do you understand me? It's in the language, people. It's absolutely gorgeous. Let's keep going. I'll show you what I mean. Give me the next one, Chewy. Give me the next one. Now, these are careful. Remember, God loves drugs. He made them from the earth, and you're an idiot if you don't consider that. Right? Okay. How many idiots out there? By the way, I think every Orthodox person, I think every Catholic conservative, I think every evangelical, right? Every one of them would have to say, hey, Nancy Reagan was full of shite according to your holy books. God doesn't want you to say, don't do drugs. He just told you, I made them. And you're an idiot if you don't pay attention to their powers. Woo! And not just watch them, but live them. What is this? This is Exodus, right? What's going on? Look at the top line, people. Look at the pharmakos. What is a pharmakos? That's a somebody who is versed in drug use, right? And you say, oh, that's I know some people who are like that. Right? Realize that when the term doesn't just necessarily imply experience, right? It implies working knowledge of, right? With all of these different drugs that they're using. This is polypharmacy, people, right? There's a ton of drugs that they're using, right? And what else do we have? We have these people who have drug knowledge, and we have epodes. We have epodes. What are those epodes? Right now we're getting into the music, the combination of the music and the drugs. And he says, lo and behold, watch out for the pharmakeis. All of that art, right? This is what the Egyptians are doing, right? It's what the Egyptians are doing. Remember where you are. This is coming to you. Right, from Hellenized Egypt. What is Hellenized Egypt? People, I'm going to tell you history for the first time. Nobody has the guts. Oh, and by the way, there's a rabdon here, right? There's a rabdon. Look at the bottom line, people. What is that? It's an instrument of Dionysus. It's an instrument used within the cult mysteries. Is the Jewish cult a mystery cult? Yes, yes. Congratulations. Oh, my God. Right? Right? Do you see the horns now? Fantastic. They thought it was a heifer. Can you believe that? They're so, my God. You know why they think it's a cow? Some kind of red cow, virgin cow. Do you know why? Perfectly red. Do you know why they think that? Because the Greek wrote the word for heifer in that prophecy in the Greek is the word for priestess. You knuckleheads, right? Do you see how backwards monism is? It forces you, when you jettison the feminine, it forces you to do strange things, right? More acid in the faces of them and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You've got to rub out that natural beauty, that natural God lady beauty. I love it. Is it up there yet? Okay, fantastic. People, look at this source. I'm going to shock you with this one too. What is this one? Again, it's from Exodus. Yeah, the priests here of the Egyptians, epodes, right? Look at the top line, epaoidoi, right? Those people, what did they do? They couldn't stand, right? They could, oh, God. Why? What are they doing? They're doing pharmakeia. You understand? These plagues that you run into, the Septuagint literally says they couldn't stand before Moses. Let's remember, we're in the 3rd, 2nd century, and we're talking about we're interjecting narrative into the past, but we're using present images to do it. And here is the wisdom of Solomon. Oh, people, look. Now, people will say, oh, God, but the drugs were all just, painkillers and stuff, right? None of the psycho stuff, right? No, it's all psycho stuff, right, people? They just found their hair in antiquity. They found those offerings of hair off that island off of Spain. And it's got, what do they have in it? They've got, guess what? Same thing they've got down in Colombia, right? It's the scopolamine, baby. What does this say? People are apistuntes. They are not believing. They are not faithful, right? They don't see and absorb panta all things. Why? Diatas pharmakeas, because they've been touched by those drugs that come from the earth. Do you understand why they all turned? They all turned to her. What you English speakers decided would be firmament. That's not her. The firmament is the heifer, is the Parthenos, right? It's absolutely good. No, I'm serious. Go check it out. That's what it's in the language, right? When you're under the influence, it can change the way, the things that you grasp and the things that you accept. Remember, there was a rebellion in the priesthood, and there were people who followed Korah, who are going to go do their own things because they could still see God. And Yahoo promised on the other side Moses, right? You're only going to do it this way with this incense, right? All right, perfect. People don't. Did you ever know that there was so much drugs in the Bible? No, of course you didn't. And where did these references are translated right out? They'll put down like witchcraft for this, people. Witchcraft. What? Excuse me, but no. I want to see the actual performance of the cult, right? That's all we want, people. Here you go. It's going to be very different from what you have today. It's going to be nothing the same. I'm going to say that one more time. Jewish cult. And when I say cult, I mean cultus. Religious, farming, cultivation. Yeah, it's just a term that classicists use for whatever the religious rites are, whatever the religious beliefs are. That's its cultus. That's what they're cultivating. Fantastic. So here's the Jewish cult here. What does Yahoo insist upon? He says, look, you have got to hate, right? Got to hate the works of pharmakeon. Look at that, into that first line. You've got to hate the works that they do, those terrible things that they do from that art of drugs, kai, and look at the second line, teletas, anosius, and initiations. That's the word for the mystery initiation. Mystery initiations that are anosios, that are unholy. What are they doing? Look at verse 5. They are mercilessly slaughtering children and enjoying the sweet bits of humanity, those sweet sacrifices that Theocritus talks about when he writes his boy poetry. Do you understand? And what else? The thoinon, the feasting on flesh and blood. The feasting on flesh and blood, people. Look at the third line. The feasting, right? Thoinon of what? Sarkon kai haimatos. I told you, when Jesus sits there at his dinner with his bread that is poisoned, and he says, yeah, eat of my flesh and drink of my blood. This is not new. He did not wake up, oh God, I'm the Son of God. What am I going to do? Let's see. Well, they could eat my flesh and drink my blood, right? Those of you who follow the fairy tale, part of it, the Romans were right. If you read this Bible and you think that this is the way things should be, you're living in a friggin' fairy tale. Right? Jesus is not saying, coming up and venting, eat my flesh and drink my blood, people. It's what mystery religions do. And they do it with drugs and hymns. And when Jesus goes skipping with his naked boy to the public park, what's he doing? He's already drugged them, and now they're singing. They're going to enter into the mystery. You boneheads, they crucified a dude who was guilty of sexual crimes against children, and you people worship him. Why do you think you're not in hell? Why do you think you're not in hell? Do you know what people who are in hell do? They dream of going to heaven. That's you. Give it to me. Of this Jewish cult, right? Any ancient cult is glorious people, right? What is he saying? Look at number 5. Here in this section, he's saying, you have a thumos. You have this chest, right? That's like a serpent, right? How so? It's like that asp. It's like that asp, man, with its deafening hisses, and it doesn't listen to the voice of the epode. Wait, what? Yeah, it doesn't listen. The epodes use their song to counteract venom. Now, the song is wrapped up in with drugs because look what follows it. Pharmakute pharmakel menu. Pharmakel menu. Excuse me. And somebody will say, some idiot will say, oh, look, there's reduplication. It must mean it's of a different language. No, that's okay. It's stylistic, people. They do this all the time. It's nothing to, if you said that everything that was in a foreign language is like this, you'd have to take a third of the freaking Greek that I've read. It's standard, people, right? So I don't know. People are just evil. They're evil when they lie, right? In order to deceive you. It's just bullshit, people. Look at the bottom line. What do you get there? You get epodes fighting venoms with drugs. And they're doing it parasofu, out of wisdom, from wisdom. And why would they do that? Because God, Yahoo, the one who makes love between men, Yahoo is the maker of the drugs. Don't be an idiot, he says, right? Sophia, wisdom says, this is Solomon, baby. Why do you think Solomon's got so many drugs around him? Why do you think there's so much going on? Oh, God. Why do you think the cartel queen came up and visited him? Brought him a whole bunch of drugs. People, wake up. It's gorgeous. Don't you love it? Give me the next one. It's absolutely ridiculous if you get outside the narrative. You know what I mean? Septuagint. Here's the Maccabees. Look at Pharmakeusas Helton. He poisoned himself and ex elipen ton bion, and he left behind his life. I just wanted you to see. Right? Oh, God, little poisoning. Give me the next one. Give me the next one. A little poisoning via suicide. Did you have a picture? Don't you have a picture of our guy? This guy. Now, people, suicide in antiquity. It's going to range over different places. If you live in somewhere mountainous, the jumping off a cliff is going to be a big way of dying. You know what I mean? Their capital punishments are all reflected in their geography. It's pretty funny. It's not funny, haha, because it's gruesome. Right here, we're going to push you off the cliff. What's happened? You know what I mean? He said, you suck. Anyway, this guy gets to drink poison who's in Maccabees. Right? Good job. Good job that we can see some of the real, right? This is the real from the text. You normally don't see the real. And the way that you know you're being bamboozled is whenever you talk about the Bible with anybody and it feels like you're in that fairy tale realm, right? And they're like, oh, Jesus loved you so much, right? And no, he took the whole sins of the world onto himself and he died for your sins. And now if you just have faith in Jesus and pray this prayer with me, halabaloolambiba, and the next thing you know, you realize that you just didn't do any forensics. Flim-flamming theology and bullshit faith. Bullshit. right? Nature wins, people. Because look, what are they doing? They're having sex with drugs, people. It's in the religion. It's baked into the religion. In the graveyards, by the way, that's where they're doing it, right? Who are these? The Hoi Farmaco. Here we got more in Exodus. We got more drug-wielding sons of guns who can't stand before Moses. Diate helke, because they've got sores done. They've got sores all over their bodies. Now you people know because you've been here faithfully, loyally, and you've been here and you know lycanthropy causes those sores. You were thinking it was a fairy tale and God was like sitting on a cloud sprinkling down sores. Ah, and here comes Charlton Heston. Oh, and no, because you can't read those texts, people. I am telling you, you don't know the text of the evidence. You don't read them, you don't know. And when you read a translation, you don't read the original. People, I saw this one. This is from the Bible. And I was just scanning for my drugs. You see my drugs in the top line, pharmakon, right? But then I was gonna, every time I find one, I'm like, okay, what's the going on? Read the context, and it says pornikale. I saw that. And I was like, okay, my work is done. My work is done. What is a pornikale? It is a, read the context, and it says pornikale. I saw that. And I was like, okay, my work is done. My work is done. What is a pornikale? It is a beautiful woman who engages in sexual activity for the sake of an occupation or career. Yeah, sexual activity is an element of what they're doing. That's a porne. Okay, this one happens to be Kale. She's gorgeous. And Epicharis, man, okay, she's got all that charm. And how does she work? Hegumene pharmakon. Hegumene is to really engage something, to propel something forward, to engage, to create an enterprise. What is she doing? She is leading with those drugs. Who is this woman? She's a beautiful porne who works with drugs. And what has she done? This is Yahoo blowing off steam. He says, this bitch has sold the nations into porneia, her own porneia, right? And the people into her drugs. Remember, people, if they're using drugs and sexual activity to induce visionary states, don't you think different people are going to develop different ways using different drugs? Don't you think there are going to be some drugs that push you this way? Some drugs, oh, this is you go that way. You go to the South Pole. Holy mackerel. Right? They got to tie you down for this. And they did. Right? Imagine if your doctor comes out and ties you down before administering your medicine. Well, if he's got 3 gorgeous singing, dancing nurses with him, I guess I don't care. Right? That is Jewish cult. What does he say here? This is a beautiful prostitute. She's leading everybody astray, people. That's okay. You can leave. She's leading everybody astray. Now, is this unusual for this time? Oh, God, I just got cut in half. Is it unusual? Is it unusual for people to go through these types of circumstances? Yes. It's quite typical. Excuse me. It's quite typical, right? We have it in the New Testament too. There are cases of women who were being used as dispensers of communion within the mystery by magi. Do you understand? This is not unusual, right? So here we've got one, and Yahoo's pissed about this one, right? And he says, look, I'm the Pantocrator. He uses a Greek title, which has to be totally fudged to say it's not, right? And what is he going to do? By the way, he's a jerk. This shows what a jerk Yahoo is, right? Imagine if this was your God. What does he say to her? I'm going to lift up your clothing and expose your privates, baby. I'm going to show your shame to everyone. They're going to all bring you dishonor, and then I'm going to throw. What am I going to do? I'm going to throw on you all of my pollution, bruh, and all of my akatharsia. Those are sexual fluids, right? And I'm going to make an example out of you. What was Yahoo going to do to the poor Nikale? He was going to banana her in front of his people. Blessed be the God of the pirate Abraham. Do you see? This is 3rd century. More Jewish cult. I'm taking you in steep as we can go into it. And I'm showing you Yahoo. Is it up? I'm showing you Yahoo, who is fighting, right? Struggling for dominance. He just got kicked out of Crete. Where does Yahoo come from originally? He comes from Crete. Right? Fantastic. I'm going to introduce you to a demon. Look at verse 14. This is Tobit, I think. I think this is Tobit. Okay, so let's just read it from verse 14. Then the kid said to the angel, the Paidadion said to the angel, hey, Azariah, I have heard about this Kurasion, about this young girl, right? The kid's being set up. The Paidadion is being set up. He's got to marry somebody within his own extended family, right? So he's got to be able to find some. Here she is. Now he's going to tell him though. This is a kid walking with an angel. This is a kid walking with an angel. Azariah says, he says, hey, Azariah, brah. He says, I've heard this girl, right? She had 7 husbands, right? And all of them died on the night of them entering the nymphony, entering the bed of marriage with her. So they got in there and they got into the bed, but in the morning, they were dead. The puzzle, who is this woman, right? Well, she's not even a woman. She's a nymph. Who is this teenage girl who's been killing off the men who keep coming back? Right? My God. You'd think that the third one she killed, they would have been like, wait a minute, let's not do the whole engagement thing anymore. You know what I mean? Don't you think something weird is going on? You know what happens? The prostitutes, remember these are pirates, the prostitutes of her father start criticizing her for the fact that she's killing off all the guys that she's sleeping with. Oh my God. People, any ideas? Any ideas? What is it with this girl that is causing this death? Enter Asmodeus. Enter Asmodeus. Who is Asmodeus? He's the demon. If you had the drugs and the initiation, you would see him. He's the demon who follows her. And what does this text say? Bring up that text. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. What does this demon do? Remember, people, where we are and the cult that we're looking at. Okay. Remember, what are the circumstances of our party tonight? The reason that we're here is these people are dying. And the reason they're dying is this couple, this gorgeous, gorgeous nymph and her demon. Let's see what it says. All right. So he says, look, because he's supposed to marry her. This is one of her cousins. He's supposed to marry her. He says, look, if something happens, I'm afraid that I'm going to die too, just like the people that came before me, because he says the demon loves her And he doesn't do bad to anyone except for the people who come into her. And now I'm afraid, look, I'm going to die, dude, and I'm going to leave a mother and a father. You know, what about inheritance? You know, that stuff's all gone. And the angel, right, turns to him and he says, hey, remember what's been said, right? You got to take this wife, blah, 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 brah. You got to take this wife. Just do it. And what's the answer? Look at the bottom line. Look at 17. The angel says, look, and if you go into her bed, you know, take the very residue that's left over after the burning of the incense, and you're going to take and you're going to remove the heart and the liver of that fish, and you're going to add it to this, and then you're going to burn it. And the devil, it goes on to say in the next verse, that's okay, I cut it off. It goes on to talk in the next verse about that will drive Asmodeus away. Right? Do you see the Jewish cult? The attempt is to get rid of the demon that loves the girl. The attempt is to get rid of that demon. It is a form of exorcism. Jewish cult is birthed in exorcism. When Jesus Christ is going out to the cemeteries with all the lycanthropes and he's healing them. And by the way, if I see one more reference outside of the Bible that talks about these Christed clothes that these magi wear, these Christed clothes that cause people to have friggin' visions, if I read this one more time, oh God, it's people don't know. They just don't know. That's all over the Bible, people. If you know the Greek, you know the text. And that text is the reality, and it's not fairy tale. None of the Bible is fairy tale. None of it. It's great anthropology, right? Please remember, we're in the 3rd century, writing about Jewish cult from the 3rd century. Give me the next one. Hellenistic Greece, right? Or at least Hellenistic Greek. The language is dominating. We're in North Africa, but we're still being dominated, right? Because that's the way it is, baby. When your language is so strong, you know, that you dominate everybody around you. You got Roman emperors, you know, spewing Greek. Why? Because it's superior. Lucretius comes along and says, I'd love to explain to you all of this physics, but I'm going to have to do it in Latin, and the language is just poor. It just cannot do what the Greek can do, right? Look at verse 8 here. What are we going to do? What else does he want in Tobit? We met a fish, and there was a kid there, and the fish tried to eat the kid. Kid captured the fish, took the fish's organs. And what does it say here? You're going to take the chole, you're going to take the bile of the fish, and you're going to plaster it into somebody's eyes. You're going to prep the drug, and you're going to treat this problem that he's got. All right? People, again, more Bible, more drugs. The drugs and the cult, the drugs and the God go hand in hand. Your drugless mysteries are bullshit. Do you understand me? There are no drugless mysteries. They don't exist. Oh, God. People don't really think, oh, okay, well, our religion is old, but what you are actually doing, you don't know. Right? Imagine the Christians if I told them we're going to go to church and Helen is going to be there. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to line up and we're going to lick Helen. Okay? And after you lick Helen, just go sit down. Just go sit down. Okay? Things are going to happen. You think I'm making that up? That stuff is in the Bible, dudes. It's in the Bible. Jude is saying, stop doing this. This is the way of Cain. Stop it. Right? Beautiful gorgeous communion. They're doing it. You know what I mean? If they just didn't complain about it, then we wouldn't know. But then a whole bunch of people complain, right? People who are not involved, that they're being kept from being involved, right? Those people, they get jealous after a while. Well, look what those people are doing, right? Have you been to Corinth lately? Have you seen what the Christians do in Corinth? The Christians in Rome burn down libraries. Those bastards burn down libraries. But the Christians in Corinth, I don't know. Some of these parties they have, I don't know. Have you seen? Yeah, there's a lot of good-looking people there. You know what I mean? Fantastic. Go. Behold the way of Cain. Do it through Lord Byron. Elevate yourself. And you know, remember Sodom and Gomorrah, he's like, here, take my daughters. Take my daughters. When is that ever a good phrase? Cannot be a good thing. But the fact that he knew he could do that, again, is more anthropology for you, right? Fantastic. What does this say, people? I'm going to tell you something now that's new. I've never told you. And it is in this Sophia. It's in this wisdom. Are you ready? This is from the Bible, people. Philos pistos, pharmakon zois. Now, some of you are going to say, pistos, I know what that means. No, it doesn't mean what you think it does. It's not faithful, right? Used here. Pistos is potable. Potable. How do I know that? You know, how can a word, one word can have two totally different definitions like that? And when you have to decide which way do you go, what do? You use environment. Well, what is the environment here linguistically? It's right next to pharmakon. All right. It's right next to pharmakon. Drug. Is it a faithful drug? No, it's a potable. And it's philos. It's good, baby. Right? It's beloved. We love it. Right? And it is what? It is the pharmakon zoes. It is the drug of life. And those who fear the Lord will find it. Have you found the drug of life? If you haven't, you got jack shit. You got no wisdom. Buzz off. Morons. Can you believe they were so strict? Right? What does wisdom say in the earliest Jewish cult that survives in a linguistic form? What is the earliest? It's this. And what are they doing? What are they doing? They're using drugs. Oh, and if you don't, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And you don't know God. Shame on you. Fantastic. That's why you need that Savior, baby. Give me the next one more. Again, this is all Bible, people. You didn't know this was in the Bible, did you? These translations are garbage. You're not going to find good translations of any of this. That's why you need to go to the Greek, man. Just go to the Greek. Fantastic. Look, God says, if you come into the land which the Lord God gave you, right? Or will, the one that he's going to hand over to you, right? Yeah. Don't learn to do according to the really gross stuff of the people, right? Don't get involved in their purifications. Don't purify your son. Don't purify your daughter. Do not purify them in the fire. Wait, what? Yeah, he's talking about very specific acts here. Very specific acts, initiatory acts. This is the burning off of the mortality. And he says, don't do it. Don't do it. Now, wait a minute. If this is the 3rd century, that makes sense. Total sense. And it makes sense that we have other texts that talk about very same thing, very same acts, very same cult ritual. That makes sense. But if this writing is actually from the 8th century, when it's supposed to be chronologically, oh no, we have a problem. We have a real problem. Is that stuff going on locally? Where are we talking about? Okay. Galilee. Where's this dude abducted from? Galilee. Okay. Do you see? Every text has fingerprints, baby. And those fingerprints are left in the language, embedded in the language. And people who pretend to read it don't actually read it. And a person who actually does read it, who is a samurai, you can tell right away. I can tell within 20 seconds. All right? It's fantastic. What else is happening in this passage? That he says, I don't want you burning your kids in the fire. I don't want you doing that. And then what's the very next word? Manteomenos, manteon. I don't want you to enter the mantic state in order to prophesy, to give prophecy, right? I don't want you to kleidonizomenos. I don't want you to resort to an attempt to come up with an oracle. And I don't want you to take the flights of birds. Again, these are all things that they're doing that the Hellenistic audience would know. Okay? All right? Do you understand? These things are not being written in the 9th, 8th, 7th centuries. They're being projected back. And in order to make it believable, we have to write an introduction that says, well, originally this was in Hebrew, just like all the law and the prophets and, all those other books, which didn't exist and don't exist. Okay. Do you see what happened? It's a tragedy, people. It's a tragedy because it obscures your reality. Look at verse 11. What does it say there? It says, you got wizards, baby, given their epodes. You got drug users enrolling their drug songs. We don't want you doing this. Don't want you using the familiars, right? We don't want you looking at the signs. We don't want you inquiring with the dead. Everything that he just described. Everything. Why? These are bdelugma, right? This is dirty. This is the stuff that they're doing in the cemeteries, baby. Wait a minute. I thought we were back in the Dark Ages. Nope. We're in Hellenistic Greece, baby. And this is a great description of all the contemporary religious stuff that's being discussed in the museum. Fantastic. You thought you were living in a fairy tale? And now you realize you are not. And the people who are saying, oh my God, one person, how could one person be so arrogant as to say something different? Well, I'm telling you, the world is not flat. And there's reality out there, people. And here it comes. Sorry, flat earthers. I love to kick you around a little bit. I love to kick you around. I do. Give me the next one. We have to hold ourselves to standards, dudes. Right? There has to be reasoning here. Go ahead. I want you to see more drug users here. And this is an extension of that last one, right? This is delugma. This is pollution, he says. Right? Okay. And it's because of this, he's going to destroy you. He's going to destroy you, people. Oh, my God. And you will be, look at verse 13. Teleos esse enantion kuriutu theusu. You will be initiated. You will be complete. Do you understand? Yahweh is not saying, I don't want you to be involved in the mysteries. He is just telling you very specifically the avenue to be involved. All right. And what is that? It's just a typical monist approach. It's what they did in Egypt in the 1300s. They did the same thing. It's a monist approach. Fantastic. Next. Fantastic. Right. He's going to destroy those people. He's going to destroy them. Fantastic. Right. Not only does Yahoo humiliate women sexually in public, but he also knocks down a lot of cities and stuff, right? For what reason? For not following, not doing the right thing in order to affect that mystery. There are laws about that. There are very strict laws in this narrative being created in the 3rd century. You understand? All right? Without any predecessors. They are creating the prophets without older documents that are in Hebrew. They don't have them. They don't exist. There are no books. Sorry, people. The Dead Sea Scrolls, let me just give you something, a hint that'll save you a whole bunch of time. With the Dead Sea Scrolls, they're the Greek sources that the people are copying out into Hebrew, right? They're not copying those into Greek, I tell you that, because that stuff is already around. They don't need to. It's already an established text that people are quoting, right? Were you aware that authors in the Septuagint will quote other authors of the time, just like the New Testament? Are you aware they quote classical authors? You could use that to date them, right? Oh my God, sloppy. Bible scholars are sloppy. What does this say? I'm going to be a witness. I'm going to judge you. Go. This is Yahoo again, pissed off in Malachi. I'm going to judge you. I'm going to be a witness. Right? What am I going to witness about? Your pharmakus and your moichalidas. Your pharmakus and your moichalidas. Why are those two things together? Drugs and sex. And it's not just any sex. It's sex that goes outside the boundaries of any agreement or social contract. Do you understand? It was just there to be there. I wanted it. She wanted it. We both had a great time. What is he going to witness against? The combo of that mystery that joins that moichalidos, that sex for sex sake, and the drugs. You have to get there. You have to see God. Do you understand me? If you don't bring her out, you haven't been into the mystery. What is the mystery of Eleusis? The Eleusinian mystery, what is it? It's the resurrection of her. Right? Oh, God. Now, do you understand? And Jewish cult is no different. It's built upon the same drug framework. Okay? Remember, the drugs are good. The Bible told you that. The Bible told you that drugs are good. Give it to me. And you're an idiot if you don't learn about how to use them properly. The birth of the monist world. That's all we're doing. Here's another one. More drugs. Surprise, Daniel. Right? What is this? The king's giving orders, right? He says, get those epodes and the magi and the drug people. Right? Make them interpret the enupnia. Make them interpret the dreams. Do you understand? He is describing the enupnia from Hellenistic Greece. Hellenistic Greece. And he is trying to push, the author of this is trying to push that information back into a time centuries before where this would not apply. These are very, very specific Greek mystery terms that are being discussed and used and written and composed with hymns and song in Hellenistic Greece, particularly the museum, people. The museum is the heart. It's the cradle. It's the cradle of humanity. Yeah. And it was Mother Greek that kept it going. I'm telling you how the cult is working. I'm not describing myself. All right? Please. One morning sun, maybe it is. Maybe they were just out. Assembled the sons of God. They're waiting now for the daughters of men. They are. Wait, guys. It's coming. Hail the muses. He's talking about how to get rid of the demon. I just want to say, he's talking about how to get rid of the demon again. And I want you to see verse 9. He talks about the hole and in Christing a person, right? In the eyes. Okay. Again, people, I said 6 months ago, I said on podcast airways, I said, Christing, treatment of your eyes causes visions, right? Going from darkness to light does that too. Yeah. And people were like, no, you're silly. Christing your eyes? What are you talking about? When it's written in the apocalypse, the very same thing. They missed all of these references. People, do you see how much people miss this material? Is what these Bible scholars who were telling you, I'm full of it. This is what they never look at. Dude, they don't read this. How many people do you think read the Septuagint today? How many people? Somebody's going to say, oh, my Greek Orthodox priest pretends to. Well, he can suck it. Daniel. Here's Jeremiah, more drugs than Jeremiah, right? And just look at the environment that it's in. It's in the Enupniadzomenon, in those dream visions, right? That's an art, by the way, people. Being able to access an oracular state in a dream, right? Have an art to doing that, a science, if you will, from antiquity, and it involves drugs. It involves drugs. Next. You mean they just don't give you ideas and bombard your head? No, these people are heavy into the drugs. And here it is in Jeremiah, even the dude who faked the prophecies of Jeremiah, even that dude, right? What's happening, people? You see how we've absorbed Hellenistic grace? Oh, God. Su en Chrisont en holy. In Christ, that holy, into his eyes. Please. Over and over and over again. When I saw people coming on and refuting me, it's difficult because you can't see it from my angle. You can't see what fraudulence is sitting right in front of your face. And I'll say any classist who's done the friggin' work, you know what I mean? They say, oh, 10% of ancient literature is Galen. Well, guess what? None of those jerk-offs have read Galen. All right? So they're missing 10%. No wonder they missed the Christ. It's pathetic. It's pathetic, people. Just so you know that we're in Hellenistic Greece, this is going to be something out of a Homeric hymn. And Homer is the driving force of the museum. Don't get yourself wrong. No, don't confuse yourself. Homer was profoundly impactful, not just on the Greek language, but on Greek culture. And he's really the reason that we have something like a museum. He's really the reason. And so we're really interested in him at this time. And here is one of the hymns that are attributed that you and I in the 3rd and 2nd centuries, we're sitting around studying this. This is what is sitting in the museum when your dude who's writing Sirach and who's writing Tobit, who's writing Genesis, this is what's sitting around. Okay, well, what does this say? What does this say? Look at the second line, first word, Chiesk. Is that a form of Christ? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. When you put that sigma kappa, it implies starting little, growing big, right? Chiesk. So it's a process. It puts the Christing as a process. And what are we doing in this process? We are Christing with, look at the second word, ambrosie. What are we Christing with? Ambrosia. Jose, as if this kid is ekge gauta, as if this kid was produced by a god. And we are kata pneus. What is that great mother doing? What is that da mater doing? She is breathing upon him. Breathing upon him sweetly. right? Oh, God, and holding him in, go, boy, see, right? In her breasts, against her breasts, in the plural here. Yeah. What is going on? This is the scene where Demeter, this is the holy scene of the Eleusinian mysteries. Demeter is burning off the mortality of this kid, just like the Jewish cult text said they were doing. Do you understand? There is overlap here, and it goes on and on and on. The drugs, the mystery, the sex of the mystery compel us forward. These activities of the Jewish cult are still embedded in the text directly, as you're seeing tonight. This should not be a mystery. This should not be a puzzle. How did those men die that went to her? How did they die in her bed? They were strangled. They were strangled? Yes. Look at them. Look at their faces. Asphyxiated. Completely asphyxiated. Do you know what the asphyxiation is brought by? It's brought by the Sphinx. It's brought by the Sphinx. To sphinx somebody. Right? What do? It's a she. First of all, the Sphinx is a she. And she is a strangler. Did you see Oedipus? Did you see Oedipus? He was ejaculating. There is an attic pot with Oedipus ejaculating in front of the Sphinx, the strangler. Do you know the drugs they're using? Do you know they cause asphyxiation? It's really paralysis, but asphyxiation. She is so upset, this girl who was hunted by Asmodeus. Right? This girl standing with him over her shoulder. Right? She is so frustrated, she tries to kill herself. And how does she logically try to kill herself? Same way she killed the men. Strangling. Chemically induced death. It's all over. This Bible is full of these drugs. The Sphinx is there. Every once in a while, she comes out of the hills and she demands kids as tribute. Yeah. The nymph ones, the ones that are ready to go, right? The ones that nature has given the green light. Go. She comes down to get them as tribute. And it's her oracles that drive the world. That's why Oedipus is doing what Oedipus is doing. Where did Oedipus begin? He began with an oracle. Where did he end up with an oracle? Oh my God. People say it's enigmatic. No, it's not enigmatic. It's ancient mystery cult. And Judaism is an ancient mystery cult. It is Bacchic worship, say the priests of Apollo. Judaism is Bacchic worship, and it is born in Hellenistic Egypt using the very same terminology, right, that's being used in the museum. It's not confusing people. The story that Hebrew is the original language of the Old Testament or the Torah and the prophets, that is a falsehood. that can be proven and proven and proven and proven and reproven over and over and over again. Just because you didn't see it, because you bought the fairy tale, doesn't mean it's not reality. Tonight, you've seen a glimpse of early Jewish cult. This is the cult that spawns everything that is monist Judaism. You're going to be surprised that this is so late. But guess what? Judaism and Christianity develop from the same crib. Oh, God. Oh, God. Do you see all the terms now? All the terms, we're going to be using them. Are you surprised that Jesus quotes the Septuagint so many times? So many times? Dozens and dozens of times. Guess what, people? This is the rise of the Antichrist. Tonight, what's coming? What's coming for you is nothing short of incredible. We are going to fulfill and open prophecy. Just wait until you see tonight. What are we going into? The title is Mystery. We're going into the Jewish cult mystery, the origin of Jewish religion. The Bible, people, right? They've stupidly left it out on the counter. And now we all have access to it. It's amazing. It's amazing. You see, they tamped down that stuff in the Middle Ages, baby. You couldn't do that in the Middle Ages because they were afraid of exactly what is happening, congregation, right now with us. They are watching us. It's the future, baby. They're trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? How was it arrested? Just, we're bringing the muse tonight and her song. This is the mystery. What did you think the mystery was? Right? Now, everybody, that was all just me trying to delay so that the time ship could be done. And here we are. Where am I bringing you tonight? For those of you who wait all the way to the end, I'm going to bring you the fulfillment of prophecy by opening a prophet. Linguistically, the reason that none of you know about this, no scholars, huh? We'll let them catch up, like the guy from Brown told me. It takes him 10 years to catch up with you. Give me the first, and boom, I pulled a trick on you. I'm Asmodeus. I am the song of the flaming torch. Wait, what? What did you do, Ammon? Sorry, I don't mean to dress up like a demon and jump in there on top of you, but I'm sitting over your shoulder, sweetheart, and I'm keeping you in my sight. That's why she sings. Do you know people have debated about this word? Look, here's an appetizer. By the way, give me Asmodeus. People have said the great lie entered the time stream and things shifted around this name. What is the Asmodeus? People will say, oh, it is Semitic, Hebrew, Aramaic, Ugaritic, I don't know, some Semitic. And I don't know why they need to do that. Because it's perfectly beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous Greek. Remember, I am handsome. Do you get it? What does this name mean in Greek? The song of the burning torch. We are in the rites, and in order to enter into the mystery rites, we're going through the language. It's our conduit. It's the only way for us to get there without smoking some fairy tales. What is the asma? That is the song. Right? There's a little iota in there hidden. Asma. Right? It's from the verb for the singing. What is the torch? It's the torch of the rites. Now, knowing that, we can inject ourselves into the mystery. Let's do it specifically. Let's hone our skill here. Next one. Let us focus on a gateway into specifically the Jewish mystery. And here it is, the Pantocrator. This is the word that Yahoo assimilates as a permanent title in the mind of the authors who wrote the Bible in the 3rd century BC. Pantocrator. Pantocrator. That's how we're going to get into the cult tonight. We're going to do it through this word. Are you ready? Isidorus. Now notice what Isidorus is writing about. He's writing about hymns. Yeah. Hymns to Isis. We have stepped out of the spaceship. In the language, we are picking up the mystery terms of Judaism. Are you ready? Look, wait a minute. I pulled a fast one on you. Another one that's 2 tricks. Do you see line 2? I just took your Pantocrator male and I turned him into a female. I just castrated your God. Oh, what is this? Remember the hymns that Jesus is singing, right? They're to the Pantocrator originally. This is Isis, the Wanasa. Tuche Agathe. Beautiful chants. She of the great name. Now look at the 3rd line. Hoopsiste. Do you know who Pantocrator is? He is Hoopsistos. You mean the first Jewish cult is using a masculinized version of a feminine mystery. Exactly. And here's going to blow your mind even more. Do you know who Moses' buddy is, who serves him and follows him around, akoluthoing everything he needs? His name is Jesus. Oh, interesting. How interesting. Those angels show up and they know what to friggin' call him because it's part of the cult. Judaism and Christianity are twins. No, it can't be. It cannot be. Search your feelings. She's a she, people, right? The Pantocrator is a she. Within the mystery, right? This is the official title of God. He is that. Where am I taking these things? From the Septuagint. The reason you don't know this is because the lie said Hebrew was the original. So these Hebrew translations, bad ones of the Greek, were used and then translated into English because the Christians, do you understand? They reinforced the lie from the beginning. They had to, because it's a house of cards. It falls, and we're watching it fall. Who is God? Yahoo in the Bible, the Torah. Who is he? This guy. He's that highest Pantocrator. Do you know who that title was used for? It was used for Isis. Remember, these are the words from somebody in the 3rd century. How is the fingerprint of the 3rd century on this? When is the mystery worship of Isis? popular? When does it enter Hellenistic Alexandria? 3rd century. It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. Very popular. So you can date things linguistically. Early Jewish cult. Right? Early Jewish cult. Fantastic. Give me the next one. Septuagint. Look, people, did you know there are odes in the Septuagint? No, you didn't, because you never actually read this. All you Bible scholars, you've never read this. This is the one that Manasseh does. You know what I mean? It's the prayer. And he says, Kyrie Pantocrator. See, there it is. We are smack dab right. This is Hotheos ton pateron hemon. This is the God of our fathers. And it goes on. Right? Smack dab in the middle of Jewish cult. Okay? Isn't it gorgeous? Oh, God. The fact that nobody knew this is hilarious. Right? Give me the next one. Whew. It's called source diving, baby. What we had to do, though, and people will say, why didn't people know this? Because nobody uses the Septuagint. Okay, who is this God from these odes? Look at line number 1. Epuranie. That's the Uranian God. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is the Uranian God. The Father, the Pantocrator. And what does the next line say? The Kyrie, the Lord. Huie Son, Monogene, the only born. Okay. Do you understand? Why does he have to be only born? Because he's Isis. He has to be the Pantocrator. Do you understand? That's why Jesus is galloping around with a bra in the apocalypse, dude. Sexy Jesus with a bra. That's gorgeous. Yeah, look at her. Come on, people. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't, man? I'd go to her cult. And we have all sorts of stuff in Hellenistic writings, right? A little bit later, too. We have a later account of what they're actually doing in the mysteries, the initiation, right? And people, yeah, good stuff. People are like, oh, you don't know what happened in the mysteries. Well, they wrote a ton about this stuff. Have you been reading it? My God, give me the next one. Look, people, who is Isidorus? He's that writer of hymns. The words here, this Hermuthi. They don't know exactly how to translate that, but she is the Wanasa. Look at the end of the first line. She is the Wanasa in this hymn, the Pantocratera, right? Look at the second line. I forgot to mention the third line. Look at Hupsiste. She's the highest. I got that. But look at Heuretria. Heuretria. What does that mean? Oh, it's lovely. It's she who discovers. What does she discover? All life. Oh, not just life. She's not the one who discovered life. Anybody could do that. She discovered it all. She discovered it all. Entire thing. Boom. Gorgeous. Listen to her sing. Now do you understand why the Jewish cult is interested in transferring this identity from a feminine to a masculine form? And that is why Jesus ends up with a boy instead of Mary in the garden. Okay? Give it to me. People didn't know Moses had a slave named Jesus? I'm surprised. It's the 3rd century, people. Right? Okay, what I'm about to introduce you to. Oh my God. Look, this is Star Soul. Wait, what? Star Soul. You mean in the 4th century before, look, it says Ante 4 BC, right? Before the century, there's a dude named Star Soul. And he's a what? He's a magus. Like the ones that came to Yesu? Yes, like the ones that came to Yesu. But way earlier. All right. And we have his dreams and oracles. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? No, watch this, people. Watch this. Look at I just want you to notice all of the terminology that is the cult terminology in the sentence. Right? Here. No, I don't need it up that much. You're blessed, he says. Eis tus ionas, into the ions, ton ionon, of ions. And then he says, Amen. Into the ions of ions. Do you see? They're not concerned with your eternal life. It doesn't exist, you boneheads. The world is the cosmos. It's the organization, you fool. They're talking about the ion. Do you want to see? Do you want to see into it? Cosmos. What is cosmos? What is this beloved thing? Do you know what cosmos is? Oh, God. Originally, it means it's the arrangement of a woman. It's everything in her environment that causes her to bring her beauty. Oh, my God. What a gorgeous concept. They eventually called the box that you carry around. It's got everything in it. Your accoutrement, your cosmos. What's your arrangement? What's the arrangement around Lady Babylon? Oh, God, that's the beauty that the mystery is bringing, that must be transformed into a Yahoo who can expel her and her song. Fantastic. Do you know who was most angry? It was Ammon. It was Ammon who expelled them, and they fled. And where did they flee? They fled to a place that was already inhabited. Look at him. Magnificent. You're looking at Serapis, right? You're looking at him. You're looking at Dionysus. You're looking at the Lord of the underworld. You are looking at Satan. And people say, no, it's Satan, it's Shaitan. No, it is not. No, it is not. It is Saturn. It is the Saturnian Bacchic transformation, and it was created by a Christ. And you can see from all of this genetics, all of this history, this linguistic history, you can see from the language, the genetics that produce these twins, Judaism and Christianity, these monist twins. These monist twins. Do you see? It was a virgin birth, because if it hadn't been a virgin birth, we would have had some differences in genes. We would have had a polytheistic genetic makeup. But instead, we got monism, right? Virgin birth. Look what the universe did. And she finds those beautifully flowering fruits. Oh, God. What does she do? She's the one who really brings, that Wanasa is the one who really brings wealth. I'm not talking money. I'm talking wealth. Who's the wealthiest? Oh, I forgot to mention. Who's the wealthiest person in antiquity? Who is the wealthiest person? Who's pronounced the wealthiest person? The one the muses love. Do you understand? Yes. Oh, God. The one the muses love. Right? Are you that one? Guess what? You're the wealthiest person on the planet. I just want you to look at down near the bottom. We got some Thracians, right? When we're talking about people who worship this lady There are some Thracians and Greeks and a lot of barbarians too worship her as well, right? Oh God! Look at the third from bottom. Astarten. People recognize Astarte. Astarte. Artemen. Huh. What is going on? I thought these were Middle Eastern thingies. Astarte? No. Astarte, Artemis. Saturn, Satan. These are false etymologies that we've all been fed. This is just Greek. The earliest Jewish cult is Greek? Yes. The earliest Jewish cult is operating in the Greek language. People of ancient Greek, I want you to take that with you. Please tell the world. The earliest Jewish cult is operating in ancient Greek. Okay? Fantastic. Give me the next. I wanted you to see some of those attributes there. Some of the gorgeous attributes. I'll throw up a couple more of the Pantocratera, right? The God who is within the mystery, the Pantocrator that you're worshiping. Yahoo. Look at what it says at the top. Okay, the Thracian dorks. They call her mother. The Greeks call her Hera, right? The great, the one enthroned greatly, right? And they call her Aphrodite and Hestia, the good. Yeah, and they call her Rhea. Wait a minute. Remember, people, we're talking about the genes, the polytheistic genes that produce ultimately a corrupted mystery that is monotheistic. Right? And again, remember, this happened in Egypt too, like in the 14th century. So don't think that this is like weird or anything, right? Here we have the Egyptians too, right? And let's see. Oh, God. Look at line, it's like around 26. That first word, who is she? She is the Sotera Athanate, the Poluonume. Do you know who Isimegiste is? She is the Poluonume, she of many names, who is the Sotera, the Savior, the Athanate Savior, the Athana, the Athena. She is immortal. Yeah. Fantastic. Right? This is the cradle of Yahoo Hashem. It's where he comes from. Fantastic. Give me the next one. How else are they performing? Let's see some really people. You're like, okay, I'm going to step out of this time and space capsule and I'm going to walk around in this language. And I want you just to show me, Ammon. What is Ammon? Oh, God. He is the one who distributes. He is that distributor of life. Right? The Greeks call him Zeus. All right. Pretty good. He is are you ready for this? The Metropator. Now, this is a concept you may not have ever thought about. This is a single person who is both mother and father. Now, the closest I can get my mind around this is if a mother or a father, let's do it this way. Let's say it was a father who was put in a position where he had to become a mother. Maybe. I'll let you understand the discovery of life and the dispensing of that life. This is central to the mystery. The dragon guards The beast bears up Lady Babylon. This is, people look, and remember, modern scholars and rabbis, they don't read this. None of these people know this, right? No theologians know this. Look at the sources I gave you. I gave you a magician from before the fourth. Has anybody ever read Mr. Star Soul? No, you didn't even know he exists. Well, let me pull out somebody famous in Jewish cult history. We're looking at Pantocrator. If you take that title and project it as far back as you can in the Greek, what do you get? You hit somebody who's so popular. Almost all of 5th century culture owes itself to this dude, Aeschylus. And here he is in a fragment talking about the Pantocrator. And if you'll notice, it's a fragment, so it looks like it's been hit with a shotgun, right? See all the holes in it? Jesus, how do we read that? Look at the bottom line, zany. So there's a Zeus in there. There's a god. Look at the top line, Cadmus. Oh, I know. I'm getting more familiar. Simile. Oh, I'm in Dionysiac stuff now. And that's where you get Pantocrate. And then they don't know how the rest of it goes. Yeah. Do you understand? Bacchic cult is the cult of the Pantocrator. That is why we have an ancient source, namely Plutarch, who's a priest of Apollo, who's, when he's asked, where does Judaism come from? He says it's Bacchic worship. Yeah. Fantastic. Give me the next one. People are like, oh, my God, you mean, let's make a show and sell some shirts. People, just look at what the history is doing. That's all that matters. Give me the next one. I want you to look at this Star Soul, dude. And Star Soul is describing the Pantocrator Kyrie, the Lord The'e. This is the second paragraph, first line. The'e, God, Uranie, Uranian. Did you know Jehovah was Uranian? Jehovah Yahoo? He's Uranian. If you don't know what that means, when the Bible opens up with in the beginning, God created Uranos. Okay? Uranian. When you rule, you arche. You project the beginning of that power, the Reich. Do you understand? These are the concepts that are in that Jewish text. Okay, make no mistake, this cult is using everything from the machinery that has already been provided it in the Greek, right? The first Jewish cult, of course, is going to reflect the language in which the people are operating. There is no Hebrew spoken at this time. There is nothing survives, nothing. How much do we have that survives from Greece? A gazillion authors and a gazillion works. And I'm not kidding you. The other day, go ahead and take it down, then we'll put it back up. The other day, oh, that's fine. The other day, I found an author who does harbors. Oh my God. I've been reading this stuff for 35 years. And I just found a dude who all he did was he wrote like geographies of harbors. What's the best harbor? And what are the components of a harbor? And it was like 39 books. I was like, dude, wait. Dude. Somebody is writing dozens and dozens of books just on harbors that we have in the Greek. And you can't find a shred of any Hebrew. You have been lied to. Your true history of Judaism is sitting in these texts, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Pantocrator Kyrie Uranie. Do you hear a hymn that's being sung now that hasn't been sung in centuries? I am the first to sing this hymn of Judaism from its origin. I am the first. Right? Who is this? Phos aenaon. That eternal light. That eternal light. Kai dunamis aorate. And the unseen power. In the beginning, God created Uranus and Gaia. Right? And Gaia was aoratos. Do you see? You didn't even understand through the translations of the Hebrew. That's a shitty translation. Do you see? All of this washes out. And every generation is deceived by that initial generation that nailed that lie into the ground. And if there's anything you moderns should understand, it's lies and their effects on history. Of prophecy, the fulfillment of prophecy, back to him, back to soul, star soul. Remember, people, methodologically, as we're classical philologists, we're hitting sources that are going to set up the context for the primary source that we're most interested in explaining. Okay, so the fact that the monists don't have access to any of this is it's their Achilles heel, man. It's their Achilles heel, I'm telling you. We just walk all over. You pull this up with them. Can you imagine me pulling something like this up, right, with a biblical scholar? They would poop themselves. They say they know Greek, which would be wonderful to give it to them, right? And just, you'd eliminate half of them just because they would look at it and shit their pants and run, right? They used to call that run, Kip, run. Right? Here we go. Falside, that eternal light. All right. What else? I want you to go down to the third line, to the end of the line. I want you to see the Michael there, and the Gabriel there, and the Raphael there. Okay? Do you see them? We are squarely within Jewish cult. The language is defunct, but they are still retaining a remnant of it in the Greek. The Greek is preserving it. Yeah. Right? Look at the bottom line. Right? You're that one who is blessed into the ions of ions. Amen. We saw that. Right? Okay. Jewish cult. You thought I was not talking about Jewish cult? Bring in Gabriel. Come here, have a seat. Right? Those guys. By the way, people, take it down. I want to give them something. Look at the papyrus here, people. Look at how messy this is. This is the kind of stuff. This is real, though. Right? I want you to see. When I show you the holes, this is actually that. I think it's the same text that I was just reading from. You see, you're not going to see separation of words. You're not going to see any punctuation, anything like that. Right? This is the real stuff. This is for people who know. Okay? It's tough. It's tough. I love reading edited text instead. I love it. Okay? Those Byzantine monks, for all their sweaty, smelly stink, you know what I mean? They really did some good things. Yeah. Okay. Give me the next. People, show me God. He is the Pantocrator. And remember, people, the reason I keep saying Pantocrator is I want you to realize, look, this is Septuagint, all right? Oh, God, Pantocrator. Who is God? Jehovah, Yahu, Hashem. He is the Lord God Ionian. Ionie. He is an Ionian God. Do you want to know why you get Ionian life? It's because you follow the Pantocrator. Right? The Pantocrator is the bridge to the Ion. Jesus never said you're going to have eternal life. There are words for eternal. And I've been saying that for the longest time. And tonight we have a source that says that themselves. in antiquity. Can you believe that? Next one, Ionian. Ionian people, there's no eternal life. This is an Ionian Yahoo. Yahoo is a masculinized feminine. Sotera, savior. The light eternal, the power unseen. Next. The light eternal, the power unseen. When Jesus comes on, by the way, what is Jesus quoting? He's quoting all this stuff, right? Go seriously. Have you seen all the times that he quotes? Tell me, how many times does Jesus quote a passage in Hebrew? He never does. He never does, because it's not around. Judaism and Christianity are twins. They're twins. Now you know why they fight so much. You know what I mean? Fantastic. Here's the fake letter of Aristeas, but I want you to see that it actually references. Notice the date. They say 3 BC, if you believe the myth. Otherwise, it looks like it's first Anno Domini. Surprise, surprise. Right? The letter of Aristeas. What is the letter of Aristeas? It's the letter that all the theologians and moron scholars use to say, oh, the Bible is a translation from Hebrew to Greek. And that letter we know is a fraudulent letter. Look at the dates they give to it. It's probably the first Anno Domini. All right? It's amazing. They knew it was forged in the past, right? But what's the language that they're using here by the first century? Pantocrator again. Again, people, this is a concept directly out of Jewish cult. Jewish cult is a modification of Greek cult, and the proof is in the language. Fantastic. Give me the next one. Whew. People, here's another one. I'm showing you the mystery. I'm just going to show it to you, right? Bring the lightning. This is more Septuagint, right? Just look at the second line. We have the Pantocrator again, and who's right across from that? Sabaoth. Now, Sabaoth, you're going to say, oh, it's Hebrew, it's Aramaic, it's Semitic. No, it's not. Read the Greek Magical Papyri. It's as Greek as it can be. Why? Because in these incantations, the words take on forms that are not just meaning. This has a root Saba, but this is used within chants where that oath is a part of the meter. Do you understand? Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Why haven't we seen these sources? Because it's the Septuagint. And the lie is the Septuagint is a translation. The original is this terribly dumbed down 7,000 word language that wasn't. It's only 7,000 words because it had been dead for centuries. Oh, God. How many volumes have we found in the Hebrew? None. Right? None without Greek that they were translating. Oh my God. History caught these people red-handed, these monists. They caught them red-handed, changing history. Back to the original Jewish worship and see, what was it? Keep going. The original service. I love this. Original Judaism. That's what this should be considered, right? This is Judith. Oh, don't you love Judith? Now remember these books, right? Some of them are from the blacklist, right? The canon. There's a Jewish canon, just like there is a Christian canon. Any monism has to have some kind of canon that they can deny everything around them, right? It's like I don't know. It's like the way that a groomer works. You know what I mean? You create a space around somebody. Right? You lower their defenses within that space where you are protected from the outside. Right? It's the psychology of the mystery of monism. Yeah, the monist mystery. See, because the polytheistic mystery doesn't go south like that. It's got a natural mothering circuit that keeps the shit from going bad. There's a reason we are talking about the worship in Timothy, right? not in Timothy, and what's his name? Philip. Thomas? Was it Tom? Maybe it was either Thomas or Philip, right? There's a reason that we're talking about the mechanics of how this mystery is working. All right, look what we've got here. Second line. The Lord Pantocrator. Right? Look at the phrase that follows it. Into the ions. Right? Into the ions? Right? No. Into the ion. Chronon. The chronic ion. When you think ion means eternal, you are mistaking it completely because you don't know the different species of the word. You mean words have genus and species? Yes. Or each genus, sorry. Within each genus. Different species. Look at the confusion. This is just a quote, modern quote. I want you to see the confusion. Step out, put yourself in space with Byron and the devil, and look at this sentence for a minute. It is not clear. I don't like that. Whether the book of Judith was originally written in Hebrew, Aramaic, or Greek. As the oldest existing version is from the Septuagint. No, it's really easy just then to say it's Greek. Thank you. And here it is. We have the text. You don't have to theorize anything. We've got the text right here, you lying sacks of theological crap. It's not clear. Nothing's clear with a theologian. Right? Nothing's clear with a monist. Right? Just give us your money. Septuagint. Judith. Right? What is the Septuagint? Judith. Kurios Pantocrator. There's the Lord Pantocrator. Here's Yahoo Hashem. And what's he doing? Oh, he's putting them in the hands of that lady power. Okay, I wish I could see this. There's virgins and everything. Keep going. Right? I told you it's Jewish cult, right? Just look around the terms. You don't think the whole virgin thing was part of it? Oh my God, remember? It progresses, people. The fact that we protect Athena, the fact that we have a half virgin, half viper, is because we protect the virgin. What is the first attack of monism? It's on the virgin. They actually believe that if I defile a virgin, that virgin cannot be possessed by a daimon, by a demon. This is the earliest Jewish practice. So my husband who has, if I'm in the earliest Jewish cult, under Yahoo, right, under Pantocrator, which they've translated into the Almighty now, right? If I am under Pantocrator, if I'm your husband, I have a union. Do you understand? I have a union blessed by Yahoo with another man. This is how the God is working, right? This is how the God is working. Oh my God, what do you think? 10 steps behind me, baby. I'm pulling out Yahoo from the text themselves to show you who this God is. Remember, he is a modified female savior mother. I am the mother father, and I am telling you, your mother is gone. I must be a mother father myself. Do you understand? It was Ammon. It was Ammon who insisted on Eve. It was Ammon who insisted on Eve. Oh, God. This is gorgeous, people. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it's beautiful that you can date these Jewish religious writings to the 3rd century, just linguistically. Right? Ammon, somebody put Ammon, the Egyptian god, right? If you sneeze Ammon into a mirror, you get Numa. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? And every Numa has an Egeria. If you don't know who Egeria is, I'm sorry. But Egeria is before all of this. I mean, this is when the song and the music and the library were coming from Italy. Oh, God. From the Vatican. Pantocrator, Curios. What is he doing? Ecti, que se autus. He's judging people, right? Right? He's judging. He's bringing people to judgment. How is he doing it? Look at the second line, the third line, poor. Oh, God, he's bringing fire and some bugs, some maggots to eat their flesh. What is this? This is the Maccabees. Here he is again. I just wanted you to see he's always showing up, right? Just so you know, legitimate. This is Yahoo. And what is he? He's Ionios. You see the final iota in that word? That's telling you it's attributing this ion to him. Do you understand? And look on the third line, third word, Israel. Don't be mistaken. The God of your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, is the Pantocrator of the mystery. What is this problem then? This text says, right? According to which what? We call the cosmon, right? Ionian. And we also call it Ideon. So the cosmos can be called ionic or it can be called idiotic. And what is idiotic? It is the word for eternally, forever. I have been telling you that for the last 2 years. And the muse walked in and handed me this and said, look, they were just doing the same thing. Give me the next one. People, if you think I'm kidding, John 3:16 says, Hutos karega pesen. God so loved ton cosmon. God so loves the cosmos that he what? That he gave his monogene huion, his only born son, hina pas, in order that everyone who believes in him may not perish or die or be destroyed, but have zoein ionion. Zoein ionion. Do you see the ionic life? That Greek author was just telling you these words are not the same, just like I have been. Jesus never gave eternal life. He gave ionic life. And if you don't have it, it's because you haven't been initiated. You are not born again. And the proof is you have not lost your fear of death. Because that's what the whole thing does. It washes that away. It allows your program to function uninhibited. Do you understand? It's a purification. Jesus got it and was doing it to little kids. Because you can't come to Jesus unless you're one of these little ones. Mary warned him. Mary warned him. What about Mary? Was she able to get him the antidote? Because she's with the people. The people of the cross are trying to get him the antidote, right? And oh, God. Why wasn't she in the park? Because she wasn't needed. It was the boy. This is the worship of Hashem. Do you understand? Okay. Woo! It's glorious, isn't it? Now you know why Jesus was arrested in a public park with a naked kid screaming, I am not a trafficker. I am not what Abraham was. The Septuagint says Abraham was a trafficker. And it says he sold souls openly. Yeah, fantastic. This is after they left Crete, right? After the Cretan expedition away, right? Oh, God. It's beautiful history. Look at the translations of John 3:16. Look at how these people are just one giant brothel of bullshitters. Look at they all cheat off each other. Look at the first 4 or 5 words, right? For God so loved the world. There's the NIV. New Living. For God so loved the world. Oh, English Standard. For God so loved the world. Brilliant. Oh, isn't that kind of weird for so many different translators to get the same exact goddamn translation across time? Look, the King James is nothing modern, right? Do you know what this is? This is the inadequacy of Bible scholars and Bible translators. Bible translators are infamously shitty. More odes. This is the ode of Moses. I so men doi kurioi. Look at the first word, people. I sang. Do you remember who brought here tonight? It's the one who watches that Korah. Asmodeus. Right? Daidzo. What do I do when I daidzo? Daio. Daio. I burn that torch. I burn that torch. You know what that torch does? If you are sitting here, and I and some of my Seder friends, maybe some nymphs, if we have come in here with our torches into the grotto, and you are here with us, we are making you stoned with our torches. These tricky, sexy people. Why do they all have erections, Martha? Shut up. Satyrs, don't you understand? Don't you get it? When Yahoo stood there and said, I bless the union of male with male, don't you understand why the satyrs all have erections on every pot? Oh, God. Okay, is everybody? Look, I know you're here at the early Jewish cult. We're looking at the mystery of it. I know it's a little overwhelming. What is our tragedy? It's our goat song, you bitches. Fantastic. Look, people, I want you to see the third line has the apophthegma, right? We've talked about that before. All of the musical side, you're going to start seeing that emerge in these songs. Give me the next. Of the cult, right? When Jesus goes out to the garden to be with the naked kid, he's singing this stuff, right? It's part of the deal, right? Oh, God. As a matter of fact, if you were there and you could have heard what he was singing, yeah, come closely, Urane, and I will speak. Right. I summoned them. They jumped out. I said, remember, if you were with Jesus at 4 a.m. going to the garden and you had your naked kid with you here and you had your teenage, drugged teenage boys here, and you tell the teenage boys, you're like, dude, this is all in the Bible, people. Mark 14. And you say, dude, I want you to stand here and keep watch while I take this little naked kid over there. Stone's throw away. Right? Don't fall asleep. Right? It says that at this time in the morning, remember, when do you practice? If you're a Jew or a Christian, when do you practice your monist cult? At sunrise. The dawning is the culmination of the mystery. It is timed. You mean the globe is timed for us? Yes. The globe is timed for you, so that you can enter into a very specific state, the state of the morning star. This is when the sons of God come to the assemble, right? And who comes there? Oh, you know who does. Sexy, sexy Satan. What does this say? So this says, these are the early morning hymns. This is that dawn hymn. Doxa in hupsistos. Theoi, glory to God in the highest places. Do you understand? Those are the places where we celebrate our Bacchic Jewish cult, in the high places. Right? Okay, this is where we are, in the high places. Right? Kai epigese reine in peace on the earth. Right? A lot of good feelings with people. You've heard this before. Right? Oh, God, did you know? Did you know this is where it's coming from? You've got a Eucharizing on line 8. They are twins. The reason this is sounding like Christianity to you, all right, is because Judaism and Christianity are twins. The God of the highest, that is Yahoo, Hashem, Jehovah, is this God. This tragedy is the song of the goat. This is the tragic song of the goats. This is the Bacchic hymn that we sing early in the morning as we celebrate Yahoo, as we celebrate Jesus. And if you don't believe me, just look at the sources. They'll tell you when they do their thing and why they do it at that time, why Jesus must be the morning star. Right? Here's Job, people. Did you not trust me when I said Job is there at sunrise and he meets with God and all the assembled onguloi? By the way, a third of them followed the devil. Why? Because he was right. Ponder that. Pantocrator. There he is again. Expedite my backside. Pantocrator. That's what this is. I just wanted you to see it. And what are we going to do, people? Look at the Thaumasia. We want something spectacular. This Kurios Pantocrator that we all worship in our Jewish cult, he does some serious stuff. He brings you amazement through the acts of this mystery. Yeah. You didn't think it was there, did you? All right? You didn't think it was there. Your religion is not what you believe it is now. What you worship now is not the same God even from antiquity. It's almost as if the first Jewish religion was a monist revolt, just like the worship of Aten in Egypt was a monist revolt. And who put down the worship of Aten, by the way? It was Ammon the 8th. Lovely. Do you see? If you have the sources, the history just bleeds out, right? The God of the high places, right? That God. Oh, God, keep going. This is, we're setting the cosmos, people. Just be aware we're setting the cosmos. Please. Hey, Phusis, people, look at this. Nature. We haven't left the cult yet. We're going to leave in just a second. Nature, right, takes joy in nature, right? And nature conquers nature. And nature rules nature. Yeah. That is the matrix in which the mystery functions. Your Jewish mystery, your Christian mystery, and the mystery of the first Christ. It's the glorious matrix. Now, let's fulfill some prophecy, people. A prophet of Yahoo. Look at verse 6 here of this chapter. Dia tutto ta de lege curios. Okay, on account of this, the Lord said these things. Now, here's the quote. Oh, God. O polis haimaton. O city of blood. There is a container in which is Eos. And this Eos does not flow from the container. It is brought to you by her song forcefully. And it does not fall. No lot falls on her. LadyBabylon is there. LadyBabylon is there. And she is coming forward. And I will show you the time and the place. And the beauty in unsealing the gummed up mouth of Ezekiel. This is the time and the place. This is the herald of the Antichrist. Thank you for coming. We're going into, in our final version, right? This is number 3, the big one. Boom. We better hit it on this one. This is the mystery with respect to sex of the first Jewish cult. Right? Remember the New Testament scholar virgins, none of those people, theologians too, right? They don't delve into any of this sex material. Oh, God. They tried to burn all that stuff, right? One of the authors we're going to be reading tonight is a guy named Porphyry. Now, that means purple. Oh, God. He's the purple guy? Yeah, he is. Get this. He wrote things about the cult of Christianity. And he exposed things about them that they didn't like. So they burned all his stuff. Isn't that great? They just burned it all, right? They just burned it all. Oh, fantastic. But we're going to follow him into Jewish cult ritual. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is the earliest Jewish cult. Remember, Jewish cult is a twin of what you now call Christianity, right? They're born contemporarily. Yes. Oh, God. 2 forms of monism hatched from the same polytheistic mystery. Oh, God. What do they have to do? They have to kill mommy. They have to reach out to the first Christ and destroy her. Do you understand? The watchers are watching, right? It's not the only thing that they do. It's just watch, right? They call them watchers, but there's a reason. Let's look at the language and see what's going on in the cult, especially with regard to human and divine intercourse. Yes, human and divine intercourse. Can you couple with God? Can you? Oh, God. Oh, God. Now we're going to talk about the one they can't put the lot on, right? Because you've got your virgin priestesses, right? What are they doing in the temple with the purple fingers? They're into the sex rites. Do you understand? The same thing that Salome's doing for pervert. You know what I mean? Mommy knew it too. Herodias knew it. You know what I mean? People know. You're going to love this, people. Vocation to that morning star. This is her. This is Cyprus. And who is she? She's the one who has that nectar, you know, the one they mix in those golden cups. It's so pure. Brings you pure joy, baby. You know what I mean? Okay, now, if you didn't get that image, you missed it. You missed heaven. Okay? Oops. What are we doing with those cups, people? What are we doing with those cups? We're drinking ambrosia. This is an act of divinity. An act of divinity to drink the ambrosia, to be as gods. Do you understand? In order for the oracles to work, they have to be hos theoi. Do you understand? Well, I am bringing you the red heifer. I'm giving her to you. Isn't it gorgeous? This is the paideia of the priestess that you are following. She's left her fingerprints on your history, right? Early Jewish cult. Do you understand? Right? Remember, Mary is auctioned. It's not an auction though where you can bid. You just give them your Bacchic wand. They take your Bacchic wand and they put it in a pile, dance around it, pick out something. Boom, it's you. Congratulations. Bingo. Number 47. Oh, God. Mary. Is that how you met your wife? I met my wife at bingo. Religious bingo. I always found that funny. You see, why are they doing this in Jerusalem in the temple? Right? This is not within the parameters of that thesmophoria. We're not bringing you the law, people. If we don't tell you, you have to protect those virgins. Protect those virgins. You see, why? Because it's the heart of our justice. And once you give up justice, look, people, uncivilized, completely uncivilized. You're acting uncivilized. Yes, it's just not. I don't make things up. I want you to read this about the naiads, because if we're going to find love, we've got to get moist. We've got to get wet. Do you understand? Huh? Did you hear me? If you want to follow this creation that is all around you, you've got to get wet. Maybe naiads preside over springs. They're called naiads from the waters out of which these streams flow. Now listen to this. Listen to the instruction, people, as if it's some sort of encoded message coming to you from across the void. They who live in caves in the earth, nursed to divine utterance by the inspiration of the muse, have made springs of the water of wisdom flow for you and break through the earth and all the glens, bringing to men the unceasing flow of their sweet streams. Do you see where we are? We've come to the cave of the nymphs. Something was very important to Homer himself. To Homer himself, he said there is a cave, and at the head of the cave into which men descend to meet gods who are ascending. In this cave of the nymphs, we must come through the virgin sitting at the entrance. Do you understand? Okay, now wait a minute. You say, what? What does that mean? What does any? Stop and focus on the Genesis. And in order to get into the Genesis, you got to get wet. Hence the naiads and what they are. Okay, I'm going to describe to you the invisible. Are we talking early Jewish cult? Yes. Ready? The connection's going to be there. In order to get through this portal, right? In order to protect the virgin, we have to come through the Choragites. Who is the Choragites? She is the one who leads the chorus. Who are the chorus? The chorus are those girls. Okay? The chorus of the girls who are becoming the oracles in the system of education. Fantastic. This is Artemis. Artemis swears a great oath. Right? The great oath of the gods. This is what she swears, and she says, by your head, I will always be a Parthenos, a virgin. Do you understand me? What is she doing as a virgin? Now, you're thinking virgin as in, oh, look, she's sitting there. Right? Maybe she's Mommy and daddy are watching her and they're so proud. She's on her soccer team. No, she's not. She says, may I be in the solitary mountains hunting the one known as the huntress, which is a great name among men and gods. Oh, don't you love that? That's initiative. That's initiative, right? This is Io This is she who pours the poison. Yeah, fantastic. She has a whole troupe of dancers. No, seriously, in antiquity, they're called the Virgin Chorus. The Virgin Chorus. Isn't that nice? It's that nice. Now, if you take your Virgin Chorus, right, and you apply your purple, you can create a piratic institution in which you can sell and buy. Right? Selling the chorus, you can buy power. It's fantastic. Fantastically dark, you know what I mean? Fantastically dark, but that's the way they go. If you're going to look at the early religion of Jewish and Christian monism, if you're going to look at the acts that they're doing, you're going to be surprised by a lot of reasons to crucify people. You know what I mean? It was a time where people were fighting over whether or not you should protect a virgin. And what's a virgin, people? That Parthenos, she's the heifer. Heifer. Do you understand? Heifer. How many of these did they have in Greek? I told you that I was going to bring you that red heifer. Oh, God, she's coming. She's coming. The very bottom line. You just have to see that limb loosen or eros leaves her alone. Okay? Who loves the romance more than anyone? It's eros, man. Whether it is to mess you up, take you from a stance of pride and throw you to the ground and show you what is important. Eros loves that stuff, man. Overthrow this SOB. Make him fall in love. But he'll mess with anybody, infamously with anybody. Gods, doesn't matter. Right? His own mother, doesn't matter. Right? Because he really loves it. Dude is into romance, but he won't touch. He doesn't even go near, it says. He doesn't hang around her at all. Out of respect, brah. Out of respect. Right? And he should, because he's one of those hunters. He's one of those hunters. Do you see how the world is closing? Do you see how it's closing off and we're losing that Eidolon? Where is she? Where is the red heifer tonight? I'm telling you, tell everyone in the religious business, the red heifer is here. Oh, God. People, this chorus that we're describing, before we bring on her, this chorus that we're describing, who are they? These are the holy graces. They're the holy graces, the daughters, the Cora Dios. Oh, God, you mean they're Cora? Yes, you remember Cora is who we celebrate the resurrection of. These are the rosy-armed daughters of Zeus. Isn't that gorgeous? Who doesn't want a chorus? If you don't want a chorus, you need to get out. You know what I mean? You got to have a chorus. I'm sorry. Oh, geez. No chorus, no grace. Now, grace. Watch this. Watch the connection, people. I'm about to throw a switch that's going to shock you. You do love the roses, don't you? What a beautiful way to describe them. Right? Rosy-armed. What's the arm that they describe? From the elbow to the wrist. Right? It's like the underside. Isn't that nice? Oh, that's nice. I like it. this is a big deal at the time. So much a big deal that it enters into things like the Talmud. Yes. At what age? Yes, at what age? 2 pubic hairs. Okay. Right? Things can be bought and sold within the mystery. Shame. Shame on your corruption of what is beautiful. And I kick over your tables with all of my child chorus. Do you know when Jesus went into the temple and kicked over the money changers' tables? Do you know who the crowd was with him? They were kids. Figure that one out. Oh, me until Jesus Christ. From Mark 14:51-52, you were waiting for me to be in a public park with, one of these kids naked. Yeah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for being arrested in a public park with a naked kid so that I could understand the origin of Judaism. All right. Watch what happens. It's all the same time, people developing. It's an amazing period. Now, the Romans didn't put down their monist revolt like the Egyptians did. So they didn't have their justice system overthrown. Yes, right? I thought we were here for love, right? Right? Do you smell the war? Here it is. Aster, my sutis esperios. Who are we, people? Let's invoke somebody. Let's invoke the evening star. And when I say that, you're going to think one thing. I want you to think Venus. I do. But I want you to also think ruler of the underworld. All right. Remember, it's the Korah that we resurrect. Okay. It's the Korah that we resurrect. That the power in the mystery is in the image. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you within the Septuagint. I want you to think about Asmodeus. Who is Asmodeus? He is that demon who is sitting over your shoulder right now. And he thinks you are sexy. And he doesn't want any dirty, rotten human to ever touch your... Don't even go there. They all end up dead. You know why? She strangles them. Isn't that glorious, people? Here's the image. Mary Purple Fingers strangling the invader. Oh, God. Why? Because the demon protects her. Who is that demon? That demon in the Greek, never heretofore revealed, is the song of that burning torch. That burning torch that they're dipping. They're dipping the burning torch into the Thusia that gives us the visions via the Anguloi. Do you understand? Hermes invented the lyre, people. Hermes invented the lyre. Okay. Are we still in Judaism? Yep. Ready for the connection? Oh, God. Keep going. I just wanted you to see Asmodeus there. Oh, and people, before we shove off, I just want to take this moment to serve you a little appetizer, right? Little appetizer. People, this is the kind of stuff that the New Testament scholars never catch up with. They don't read ancient Greek grammarians and whatnot. They don't love the language. They love their interlinear translation, and they love their theology that blows. Do you understand? What is this? I just wanted you to see. Here's a little cut. It's just, we're talking about ara, right? How to indicate a question in Greek. And he says, look, in the dialects that aren't Attic and Koine, these, right? They pronounce it this way, era, right? And then he gives an example of Sappho, right? And her virginity. Yes, right? This is the level of the language expression in Greece from the time of Sappho. This is pre-classical, people. By the time Jesus is here, the science of language is so developed that the New Testament writers are mucking it all up with their fingerprints, right? Those fingerprints are the clues that tell us to help put together this mystery of why Jesus is arrested in a public park, right? That mystery that's behind all of this, right? It's all clues to it. It's in the language. It's embedded, my dear, in the curve that is the small of your back. Do you understand? Give me the next one. Oh God, this is gorgeous, people. It's gonna get sexy here. I apologize. Right? You had to know. Right? If I went to my refrigerator, you had to know something was going to happen. I want you to see a love letter. This is to Charito, who is the lover of the person, Philodemus, writing this, right? And he says, look, Charito, you have completed a cycle, right, of 60 years. But your long hair is gorgeously black. There's no gray in it, right? And to summarize the next two lines, your breasts, you could take off your bra, my dear, and your breasts are shaped like they were when you were in bloom, right? What's happened, right? Look, he's scared. He says, your flesh bubbles up. It distills ambrosia. Your flesh does, right? And it has no wrinkles. It has no wrinkles. Look at what he's doing. Who is this woman? 6 decades in length of life, who seems to not have aged all beyond her bloom at all. She's still there. Now, if you're like, wait a minute, what's this bloom talk? Right? That's them. That's how they age. Right? You didn't know? Well, right? Is she mortal? She is the immortal beloved. Do you understand? This is a plurality. Yeah, and it's a physics of nature. The whole art of the poetry of the lover is really going to be the launch pad from which the anti-female monisms, right? Because if you cut all divine power away from nature and say there's just one male entity, this all has to be dealt with, right? You have to sweep this out, right? So you can see the attempts to do so. Next one, the lover to his beloved, right? Describing her agelessness. Isn't that gorgeous? It's such a, it sets the tune for the cult, right? Boom. Because it has to be, the mystery has to be that greatest of expressions, right? Oh, God. It's her voice, right? Okay, is the next one up there? Okay. Yeah, the part, people, it's going to be, as it's coming up, the part that's going to be revolutionary is just around the corner. I want you not to miss this connection. One more is in this workup, right? We're talking about another lover and their beloved, right? And this is Ariste. Little hymn to the moon, that golden crowned or shining crowned moon. And who else? The stars. Right? Those are all on ocean's bosom. All on ocean's bosom. And you know what Ariste is? She is muropnos. Do you know what that means? It means one who breathes myrrh. One who breathes myrrh. And below you can see in the very last line, he's not able to catch her because she's a magon. She is a magus, right? When they say that magus, it's fine. This, remember, we're with the chorus, so don't worry. Nobody gets scared. We're all with the chorus, virgin chorus. Here we go in. I'm going to set this up. You and I have just been swimming in some beautiful Greek about love, right? And about human intercourse, right? And about the immortality of intercourse and what is the cosmos, right? God, now I'm going to bring you Porphyry. And I know it's a giant section. I just want to read this with you. It says, we likewise use the term naiad nymphs specifically for those powers set over the waters. Okay, just wait. And the ancients used to use the term to designate the general class of souls descending into Genesis. Do you understand me? They believed that souls settled upon water, which was God inspired, as Numenius says, adding that it is for this reason that the prophets said, are you ready? This is the Septuagint. The Spirit of God was moving over the face of the waters. Okay, just stop right there. You realize what's going on? This is Porphyry, the guy whose books the Christians burned, right? This is him talking about the Septuagint, the book of Genesis. And he is explaining it to you through Greek cult, or what you and I would call Greek cult. But this is not Greek cult. This is Greek cult that is being used as early Jewish cult. Okay? Fantastic. What does he say? He explains it. Now do you understand why it says what it says? He goes on to say, Heraclitus says, it is a delight, not a death, for souls to become wet, for it is a pleasure for them to fall into matter. Remember the cult of the Phrygian mother. Remember the cult of the Phrygian mother and be wet. What was the cult? Remember the little kid, Attis? Remember? What did he do? He followed the nymph into the moisture. He followed the nymph into the moisture. That was not what he was supposed to do if he was the purified mate of the great mother. So how did she purify him? She cut off his bowels. Do you understand? She cut them off. She cut them off. All right? Ready? Do you see how the schools work? The mystery schools work? It's fantastic. Physics people, just follow the physics. Right? Genesis and what? Oh, by the way, at the bottom, they are in love with both blood and semen. Right? Just as the souls of plants are nourished by water. That is the attraction, the draw. The Greek talks about the draw. What is that draw of the moisture where the souls are? Do you remember in the beginning, right? What is this? This is the actual Greek there, like, right? Numenius said, he's quoting the prophet when he said the Spirit of God hovered above those waters, right? You didn't understand why that was written because you had no view of the heifer. You had no view of the red heifer. Give it to me. And the people are like, oh my God, look, he's solving their riddles of prophecy, right? No, the languages. We call them naiads because they are those powers that are brought down in the waters that are unique, right? It's the souls that are descending into generation. They think these adhere in the water that is theopnoo. Do you understand me? His lover's breath was myrrh. This prophet speaks with a God who breathes. and the soles adhere to the moisture. Oh, is that what that means? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And it's not me that came up. Look, this porphyry is cracking that nut long before anybody else did. You know what I mean? It's partially because of dudes like Porphyry that the monists on both the Jewish cult side and the Christian cult side that they operate within. They have to make canons and they have to make exceptions to kick out all of the linguistic history of these works, right? It's a thievery and it's full of lying. Theologians are liars, man. Right now, I know a lot of you are sitting there and you're like, oh, devil doesn't have to tell me that religious people are liars. Nemesis people. Who do we serve here? We serve Nemesis. Do you want real power? Right? It's not sitting on the golden throne of the idiot tyrant. It's not sitting there. It's in the hands of Nemesis. In all seriousness, right? Hey, people, do you see what we just did? You can't read the Bible. I'm telling you that. You can't read the Bible, and you never have. I just read it to you for the first time, and the Genesis creation makes sense. You can see the physics of it. This is a 3rd century Hellenistic work, this Bible. It is not Hebrew. It never has been. It never will be. No. All you have to do is look at the complexity of the languages. Oh, God. It's absolutely wonderful. And it's cracking. It's cracking, people. People are running from it. Running from it. Give me the next one. Oh, good. Is she there? Fantastic. People, everybody, look into the cross of Penelope and see what she doth hide behind that place of suffering where the Laestace was crucified with 2 other dudes screaming, I'm so thirsty. Right? They tried to give him the antidote, which is weird. Have you ever noticed, people, by the way, this whole antidote thing, right, talks about the antidote and the drugged bread that Jesus was using. All right, look, here's in the beginning, God created Uranus and Gaia was aoratos. Do you see that top of the line? Aoratos, unseen, and kataskewastos, unscaffolded, and the darkness was on the abyss, and the pneuma, the Spirit of God came over that. That water where those souls adhered. And look at verse 3. Right? Then comes in the light. Now, people, you're sitting there like, wait a minute, were we just in a cult? I thought we were doing cult rites. Yeah, just wait. It's because it's her that I have to bring you. Boom. Are we just seeing the light? It's the light of the sunrise, right? Right? And what is your theos making? He's making the stereoma. Now, this has been translated. This is in the Genesis, in the cult. You and I are still sitting in the cult. I drugged you. I'll explain everything later. Don't wipe that off now. God made the stereoma. Now, this has been translated, right? Partially because it goes through Hebrew into Hebrews has no way of representing this at this level of sophistication. It just can't. Right now, what is a stereoma? Technically, it is that space. It is that space in which the light-bringing mystery can function. Well, wait a minute. Wait, what? What is that space? That space is her. Who is the stereoma? The framework, the skeleton, the stera. It is the framework of your mystery, and that framework is a stera. And what is a stera, please? Anybody please want to tell me what a stata is? Remember, this is from the Greek, right? This is not from the Hebrew. You can't do it. What is that stata? You think about, what is that foundational framework? What is that really? Well, you can talk about a cow. You can talk about a cow, right? We start with a cow, right? And what kind of cow? It's a cow that hasn't given birth. It's a heifer that has not brought forth young. Now, look, though, when you're talking about women, it is someone who can be barren, or it is somebody who hasn't had offspring at all, a virgin. A virgin. Do you know who Io is? Do you know who Io is? Now, do you understand the cow? Do you see the heifer? Give me the next one. Do you see the heifer? Oh, did you get an image? Chewy's getting an image. What'd you get in on that? What'd you get in? Oh, very nice. Very nice, right? Do you see the right embodied? The right is in her. It's not in a cow. What's funny is they're actually looking for a cow. They have some idiot in Texas, right? Who's like, he's got a herd of red heifers. They're going to inspect them all. Send them to Israel. For your ignorance, people. I drink to your ignorance, to your great ignorance. Look at how you can have a ton. You can have a ton of cows and not so much brains. Excellent. Now let's go to her. Let's go to the mystery. Remember, I want you to look at her image, right? I want you to look at her image. What is the heifer who has been projected forward? Now you're going to say, wait a minute. What's the Damalis in the Exodus? Is it Numbers? I'm sorry, is it Numbers? I think it's Numbers. People, look here. A young cow or heifer, right? Just from Damazo, the verb is pretty straight up. But notice that it's in the Cantor's Alexipharmaca. Oh, what would it be doing? In an oracular priest's drug manual. Surprise, surprise, surprise. No, we're not, because the golden cow they worship wasn't a golden cow, you moron. Look at it. Look at number 2. What is she? She's a girl. She's a girl. These people were worshiping a girl. And the pirates said, no, we're not going to do this. All right, we're going to cut that out of the mystery. The earliest Jewish mystery is a monist reaction to a polytheist mystery that involved a priestess, right? Created by a first Christ. Okay. Do you see how Christianity got half the genes? Judaism got half the genes. They're expressing the same parent. They're expressing the same parent. Right? They split. Why does that happen? I don't know. So boom. Right? I want to feel the belly. Okay, give it to me. What was that? Give me the next one. Who are we looking for, people? In the Septuagint, that is the Bible, that is the Torah, which is a way of saying the thing that became the translation, right, of this original text. This is the original text. Here she is, people. Here is your red heifer. Labetosan prose damalin. Puran amomon. Now, if you were dumb enough to think this was an actual cow, right? Were you? Did somebody tell you that? Oh, okay. Yeah. No, they always do this. I don't know why. It's because they hate her. You know what I mean? She is a momon, people. She is without any sort of blemish. She is without any sort of blemish. I want you to think about that. Stop there for a minute. And people say, give me the next one. It must be the cow's hair. Is it the way? Is it the way? How do the religious officials now who are judging all the red heifers? Because this is the thing. I'm telling you, this big cattleman from Texas. Yeehaw. Sent his evangelical heifers out there. Maybe one of them is this heifer, right? People, look at it. What is something that's without blemish? Yeah. Do you think that I know these religious nuts are looking at cows and they're thinking, is this the one? Is this the one that Yahoo said was coming? Right, having totally missed the boat. Look at the very bottom line. And I want you just to see the word hugia in there. Hygeia, health. Do you know what the heifer has to be who brings the song? She has to be healthy, completely, perfectly healthy. Look what they did. They mistook their own creepy bullshit thoughts for the original glorious standard that the Greeks had set for their oracles. She has to be unblemished. She has to be healthy, dude. The virgin we protect, she's got to be healthy in all ways. She's going to be singing the future. She has to be healthy. God, I don't know why people are like, oh, they're looking at cows. I think it's hilarious, people. Right? It's history's joke. Don't we look stupid? We look stupid, right? More Bible, more Septuagint, people. I'm showing you, right? We're in the same cult. We're in the oracular cult. It is just a contorted version of it. Do you understand? No different from Christianity. Judaism and Christianity are the same. They have the same genes, people. Oh, God. Yeah. Okay, what are we doing? Line at the end. First word on the third line, anthropo. We're talking about the Son of Man. Yeah, we're talking about the Son of Man, and we're talking about prophesying epitopneuma. You have to have that inspired breath. And how do we get there? This is the Septuagint view. This is the Bible. Ekton, tesaron, pneumaton. From those four winds. This is an imprecation. It's an invocation. I'm asking them to come elfe, right? And what are these four winds going to do? They're going to enter into the dead and make them alive. Wait a minute. This is in the Bible? Yes. People, oh my God. Jewish cult, people, earliest Jewish cult. What are they doing here? What are they doing here in this early Jewish cult? Let's say, looking into the past, right? And I'm gonna sprinkle on you that blessedly purified water. And you're gonna be purified from all your impurifications and all of your idols. Do you understand? What are those things that are akatharsia? Do you remember what it is that LadyBabylon, who has the mystery written on her forehead, do you know what it is that she is blamed for? It is that akatharsia of her porneia. This is the cleansing. This is the monist attempt to wash away the oracle. Once the oracle is gone, you can do anything you want to them. Restrict your protection for the virgin and lose everything. That is the history of Judaism and Christianity. Do you understand why Jesus was arrested with a naked kid now? Okay. We are at a time when we are transitioning. The mystery is being changed. It's being transformed. Now in the temple, it's being turned into a business, right? And there's no problem with that because Abraham was a seller. He was a slave dealer, dude. And those paidiskai that he had, those are child prostitutes. right? We're talking about standards where you can have somebody who's premature to puberty, right? Who is being trafficked into a system that has a demand, right? And they're doing that at the Temple of Jerusalem. Notice those paidiskai, those prostitutes that were calling out the apostles, the teenagers that are prostituting for Jesus. Did you notice? They called out Peter, one of the boys of Galilee. Where are the prostitutes? They are coming from the temple courtyard. Mary Purple Fingers is real. Do you understand me? Do you understand? Okay. All right. Does it hurt? Does it hurt our brains to look at the earliest history of Judaism, the earliest history of Christianity as they emerge together? Is it difficult for us to see their origins because we have different cultural standards? Yes, and that is why we reject the history. You understand? It is why people like Porphyry came along and said, hey, dudes, these books, they're not written in Hebrew, bro. Right? Yeah. Yeah. You must preserve the library at all costs, or you lose her. Right? Whose poetry are they burning? It's the, who do you think? Right? Fantastic one. Another couple of indictments of the history, right? But let me tell you something. Sometimes a minority can be just and standing against a majority. Yeah. Right? Fantastic. People, I just want you to see back in the Maccabees. Who are we calling the Pantocrator? That is Yahoo, Jehovah, Hashem. We're calling him Ionios. We're calling him the Ionic. Did you know Jehovah's titles? Among them are the words Ionic. Oh, God. Ionic. That's why in the earliest synagogues from the second, they have Ion standing in the ribbon of the zodiac. Yes, fantastic. Notice Israel is in there. I just want you to see Israel, just in case you think I'm making it up. Next, Pantocrator. Who is Jehovah? Are you ready, people? Are you ready? These are the Sibylline oracles. Oh, God, look at the middle line, Pantocrator. There he is. There's Jehovah. And what is he? He's Aoratos. Wait a minute. In the beginning, Gaia was Aoratos. Yes, because she is a god. Who is Jehovah? Pantocrator, your almighty. He is Aoratos because he is a god. And if you eat that fruit, you will be like us, gods. Do you understand? Do you understand why the fruit must be banned? Let the rabbis, oh my God, they should read this, people. This is the history. This is the gorgeous history coming right out of the language. They didn't know. I don't think they knew that we had this. Did they know? I don't know. The classicists, they've been hanging on to this stuff for years, right? There, people, just look at this little simple phrase. This is the Pantocrator, right? Para the Ionie. Okay, people, this is from the Bible. This is from the Bible. Remember, you haven't read the Greek, right? Because you don't. Nobody does. Right? You couldn't be held responsible. And the people who do say they read the Greek, they don't. Do you really think the people that you've heard who said they read the Septuagint and they're experts? You've heard them, right? Oh, I love it. This is the Ionian God that we're interested in, people, right? Jehovah, Hashem, right? If you didn't know that, right? It's because you've been lied to. People have lied to you. People, I'm telling you. Somebody's gonna take you in a back alley, man. right? That's what it is. That's what it is. They're back alias, right? It's very uncivilized. Right? It's very uncivilized. And hence you can see the reason that Rome had such a problem, right? Oh, polis haimaton, oh, city of blood, right? There is a container in which is the eos, and the eos does not come out of it. It is produced by force in the song of hers, right? And she doesn't fall before any. There's no lot that falls on her. Right? Blood and semen. Do you understand? Blood and seed. Right? When I say seed, I mean both. Right? When I say seed, they mean both masculine and feminine. Here we're talking about the feminine. Gorgeous. Absolutely love it. This is what we're expelling next. This is what we're expelling from the Jewish cult. That eos is coming from her. The eos is coming from her. She will expel it. Do you understand? So you can see how this could be used in temple practices for what you might consider prostitution. Prostitution. Right? Okay. But there is no lot for her. Right? For LadyBabylon, that virgin has no lot. Right? Because her blood is in her middle. And I have ordered it to be set upon a rock that is le'ah. Wait, a what? A rock that is le'ah? What does that mean? Look for the first root, le'ah. You know what that is? That's the root for booty. It's the same root that we get in lay stays. This is booty rock. I have set your blood on booty rock because I did not want to cover and hide it in earth. Next. Yeah, it's the right. Okay, people, right? Put it together. You're sitting there watching it. Put it together, right? Oh God, it's so gorgeous, right? When you read this in the Greek and you look at, go back, and sometimes I just for the fun of it, I'm like, no, this word is way too advanced here. There's no way the Hebrew even be, and it sure enough, it's either gone, it either doesn't exist, they just ignored it, right? Just dropped it out, or they have something substituted that's totally wrong. It's totally not. It has no equivalence. God, it's gorgeous. And you can tell which passages. Here it is, people, in case you don't believe me. Look at under A. The word is leopetria. And look at the split there. It equals Leah, which is the booty, and Petra, which the rock. What is on the rock? It is that booty, and it has to be there for a reason. It has to be there for a reason. Did you think that we were going to do sex tonight as a discussion topic of history without talking about the lay stays? Remember, people, the lay stays was invisible to you 2 years ago. Nobody knew what a lay stays was. Why? Because the theologians came in and they took that Hebrew garbage and let's turn it into King James crap English. You know what I mean? And then what do you have? By the time you get that abomination, you got nothing. People, we have the original text here, right? What is the God of this early Jewish cult? It's the God who doesn't hide, who doesn't cover with earth that communion. Do you understand? Kago megalunoton dialon. The God who magnifies the torch. You see the dalon there? That is the torch. That is what brings dio. Osmodios. I am Osmodios. I am the song of the torch. It's like we had opened a portal. Do you understand? The only reason to open a portal is to reestablish your connection with her. Right? This is the Eleusinian mystery. There's a reason that we raise her. Or I want to bring you her complete form, right? Because I want you to see her. I want you to see this mystery center that is the draw of that life that adheres to the water. God made her. Oh, is that what we were trying to do? What are we doing? We're throwing some stuff on coals, getting high again, and there's some fermentation going on here. I just want you to see that. I want you to look at the bottom line. And I want you to see the word akatharsia sautes. This is her akatharsia that is the right. And you'll notice, right? Hoios autes. She is the source of the eos communion. She is the one over and over and over and over in the Bible, over and over and over and over in the Greek, but not in the Hebrew and not in the English crappy translations of the Hebrew. This is a mystery image that has been erased linguistically. Yeah. Welcome to the falsehood around you. Welcome to the untrue. Oh, can you breathe this? I know you can. I know you have. Ever since you were born, you could breathe it. You could feel it around you, encroaching. You could see the unseen chain. What is this? There's a lot of this EO. What is the Lord going to do? Right? He's going to make sure she gets shamed. Her communion poison. Her communion venom. This half virgin, half viper. He's going to shame her. All right? Do you understand? Do you want to fall into the earth in an earthquake? Yeah. Do you want the ground to open up and swallow you for following this calf? Please. Stop tromping around in the cow patties. You killed her, but you made a mistake. Her fury has come back. I am Ammon the 8th. Give it to me. Anton Imiainu. You know what you're doing? You're polluting yourself, and you need to be washed. And I'm going to wash you, baby, because I am Yahoo. And I, Yahoo, speak through the Son of Man. I want to thank you for coming tonight, and I want to thank you.
Let the light shine in, unto a hair Satan, and fire their medicine. Let the light shine